Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to the Friday night chop session with Stormybman for this Friday, January 14th, 2022. This is number 138, and we're calling it Stepping Up and Showing Out. And we are back. I'm glad to be here. I have to tell you that I almost wasn't here because a little over an hour ago I came down with the worst case of heartburn. I haven't had heartburn in years. So I'm just thankful to be here. Took a couple of antacid tablets and tried to ready and steady myself. But whatever. You know, I'm here. Say salute to the mighty LDBC. I'm glad to see you guys are filing in. Don't forget to smash that like button as you come in. And we'll get ready to get down to things. And let me start it off with a little bit of a roll call out there. We got my man Big Homie Coop out there. He says, salute Sifu. Backsmack the like button, people. And class is in session, so pay attention. Salute to all the family in the chat. We got Young World out there saying, yo, Big Storm, salute to the chat. William Old School Arnett out there saying, Big Homie Coop, salute. And Stormy B Man, salute, brothers. Salute to you. He says, damn, I'm on time for once, and I smashed the like button at Stormy B Man. Picasso is out there saying, yo, what's good with you? He says, already. Sylvestrial's back saying Stormy salute. Picasso is saying combat. And he says brutal. Yave is out there saying salute sensei. Salute to you, brother. Good to see you back. And G5 Gabe, my man, is in the building saying salute OG sensei. Salute to you as well, brother. My man Drew Titan LLC is out there in the building. He says, yo, what's good with you, Drew? And everybody saluting each other. Thrill Hill has joined us once again, saying salute Stormy B. Salute to you, brother. 817 Boxing B says salute Sensei and chat family. Salute to you as well. Let's see who else we got out there. We got more people saluting. And I think I'm caught up on everybody that's in the building thus far. And for those of you that are coming in, still filing in, please smash the like button as you enter the temple. Yeah, so we here, man. Talk a little boxing this evening. Like I said before, I'm glad to be back. You have to excuse me if I can't mute the mic before I catch a burp or something, because those antacids are going to work very fast on me. And I'm just trying to get some breathing space here with that. A little bit of heartburn. But Big Texas, ATX, Cletus Smith is in the building saying salute sensei. OG, salute to you. Quee, the sister is out there. She says, what's happening? What's good with you, sister? And everybody is still saluting. Yeah, so we're calling this one Stepping Up and Showing Out. And, you know, I get a little creative with the titles sometimes. And it's about time we start seeing some people in the sport of boxing step up and show out, you know, regardless of whether they want to or not, you know. But what we're witnessing is something a little bit different. Of course, everyone has heard about the lawsuit that Terrence Bud Crawford has filed against Bob Arum and Top Rank, you know. But it's directly at Bob Arum, but, you know, his business is through Arum and Top Rank. But, you know, and on the heels of that, we knew that it was a move that a lot of people didn't see coming. I don't even believe that Bob saw it coming. Even though he knew Bud was not going to re-up with him, it just kind of, I think it sidetracked Bob. And if it did, with all due disrespect, good. Huh? Good. For once, something like that needs to happen to people who think they got a hold over somebody. And it once again just shows, man, you just don't know who you dealing with sometimes. A lot of people think, but they don't know. Huh? But that situation happened. It's been the talk of the week since the news broke of it a couple of days ago. And we're still talking about it a little bit. I know that people are making their own, they're making their own videos and commentaries on the situation, how they think it's going to play out and this and that. But what has been really surprising, but then again, not so surprising, is the number of people who have come to the graces of Bob Arum. Oh, Bob is not like that. Bob is not a racist. Bob took care of my daddy and Bob put money in my mama's pocket. And listen, man, for all of those that want to come forward in lieu and support of Bob Arum, on behalf of fighters that are still currently under the Top Rank banner and Bob Arum's promotion, go sit your asses down somewhere. Your experience with Bob is not Bud Crawford's experience with Bob. And even if it is, even if there is a facsimile, okay? Y'all can look that word up if you don't know what it means. But you should. We're all adults here. If it happens to be even near or nowhere near, you got no business sticking your nose and your asses in where they don't belong. Huh? Where were you guys praising Bob before this lawsuit dropped? Could it be sentiment for the old man just because someone is dare challenge or put down a challenge that there's just something not right about him? And if that be the beginning of anything, you have to know that when a person asks for a jury trial or witnesses be listening in on these circumstances that they're being charged with, there also must be some evidence provided, documentation, explanation, maybe even witness. I don't know. I'm not real good in the legal department, but I'll tell you this. When you look at the amount that lawsuit is filed under, and I touched on this a couple nights ago or last night when I did my boxing raps stream, the $10 million figure is a nice, focusable amount when you talk about what Bud Crawford is charging. It encapsulates his experience dealing with this particular promoter. And remember, there was a fighter under the banner who was right there next door. And when I say next door, I'm talking about amongst the ranks. I'm not talking about with another promotion group. And that was Manny Pacquiao. And Bob promised Bud a fight with Manny Pacquiao. He attached Manny Pacquiao's name to a possible future date with Bud. And he kept dangling that over Bud like a carrot before a horse cart carriage, And Bud looked forward to that. knowing that an opportunity against a fighter like Manny Pacquiao would definitely raise his stock, lest he be victorious, and also give him notoriety that he sought, maybe on the low, because he's not that type of outgoing personality, but he knows what it means in the boxing community when you say, hey, you know, I beat Manny Pacquiao. And it didn't take place. 1 year went past. 2 years went past. 3 years went past. Manny left Top Rank and Bob Arum. 4 years went past. Finally, and I think it was just within the past couple of years, Bob Arum comes out and says, I killed the fight. I killed the fight because I knew what was going to happen. Manny Pacquiao is a friend of mine, and I know what was going to happen. We don't know what was going to happen, Bob, and you don't have any idea what was going to happen either. You may have been around a long time, but you ain't God, huh? You ain't, huh? And these subjects that have come to your side to sing positive praise of you, they're not angels, huh? A lot of them got mud on them right now, Bob, just like you. And it stinks, huh? You all need a bathe. And you know you need a bathe, huh? With the dirty things you've done over the decades to various fighters. Why do they leave you, Bob? Why are you not a promoter for life for some of the most talented people who have come down boxing's pipeline? Huh? Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Thomas Hearns. Huh? Why? Why not? We need that question answered. If you're such a great, jolly old guy, huh? You so tight with the buck, Bob, you squeak when you walk, huh? But the moment somebody says, you've done me injustice, you've done me wrong, you've cost me. But letting on, here's Bob saying, I could have had a house built in Beverly Hills with the money I've lost on Bud Crawford, because Crawford would not promote himself. Funny, that's your job. You haven't promoted a fight in decades, Bob. Let anybody tell it. You'd rather a young black fighter go out there, play the villain like Floyd Mayweather did. And he openly said it. I wanted to play the villain. Grab microphones, say disrespectful things, be an outgoing, engaging personality. You ask these things of him, but you didn't ask him of Oscar De La Hoya or Miguel Cotto or Mikey Garcia, huh? You didn't ask it of those guys. You're not asking it of the young men who are working now under your banner. Vasily Lomachenko speaks some of the most broken English I've heard from an Eastern European fighter who has fought many times in America. Where are you asking Vasily to promote himself, Bob? And you're still angling, trying to get him right back up in there for title contention when he needs to get to the back of the line. That's what happens when people lose their titles and don't have rematch clauses. You're back amongst the ranks. And now you have to face some of those men amongst the ranks. You've gone through the lengths of erasing losses off of his record. Huh? You've gone and spoken the blasphemous words of he's the best thing since Ali. Yeah, that was you, Bob. I know the words stank when it came out your mouth. Or it could have been that diaper. Huh? Or both. But how insulting to the legacy of a great like Ali. And answer me this, Bob, just off the top of my head. Why is it that every time you want to take one of these foreigners and equate them with greatness, you look to do it with black fighters? But the black fighters, you've never given them their just due. Huh? You've never heaped the praise upon them that they so deservingly earned. But you'll take someone else who doesn't measure on the scale in comparison to them. Why don't you reach back into the annals of history and go for the Nino Benevucci, or you go for Nicolino Loce, or you know the guys who come up in the era of the Zale and Graziano and those men? Huh? Why are you trying to take these men who've earned nothing and try to put them on the level with great black fighters, the Haglers, the Leonards, the Alis? How insulting. Those men were easy to promote because they went out and they rolled up their sleeves and went to work. Their careers, fights, matches made were not orchestrated. Shall I say that one more time? Those men, their careers, the matches that they fought, were not orchestrated. They went into battle and they performed. For many of them, the outcomes were sweet. But you still held back on the dollar, though. Still held back. Even when you didn't have to do much promoting. But here you have today's modern day fighter, pound for pound, the best. And you've created a situation that made controversy and disrespect. You made it appear that this man didn't want to fight other people. You can't make deals with Al Heyman. Funny how you made them for the fights between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder just recently. Yeah. You work with other promoters when you get ready, Bob. And you've probably already sent the smoke signal out for some of your colleagues to not welcome Bud Crawford into their graces. But let me say this about that, Bob. If people turn Bud Crawford away, and I'm talking about your colleagues, the other promoters out here, there will be proof of your prejudiced and biased dealings in the sport. Because you calling in those favors of 90 years, 60 plus in the business, speak only of the fact that you would want this kid in your eyes, but this man in this sport to be taught a lesson. The world is watching, Bob, and it's a different world than you knew before. News travels fast. You've heard the term go viral, right? Yeah, I'm sure you have. And what that means is from your ass to the sun, word will travel fast. So there's only one thing for you to do. You need to do right by this young man and anyone else like this young man in your stable currently, and prove his documents wrong. Word has it that Shakur Stevenson has announced that he has something big on the horizon as far as his next bout, an opponent to be named in a fight that's a legacy fight. If that be true, maybe you're already trying to turn a leaf so that you look better when you come to the legal house. But one fight does that not make a change or a transition. You understand? There are far more people. And this may just be the beginning of getting to a clearance where people can be really considered. And maybe you just need to step aside and allow the business of boxing take place. But we're watching you. We are watching you. We already have a track record. And with this one man alone, you've spoken a little bit too much out of your own mouth. Statements made. Don't forget, you had to be asked about Tyson Fury and how much money you've lost on him. Those two fights, Otto Wallin and the other guy that nobody seems to remember. Yeah. He came in dressed like Apollo Creed in one fight and dressed like a Mexican in another. Because to you, Bob, that national ethnic pride is something that you don't mind putting on. But I'll tell you something. When Fury fought those two fights, Top Rank was darkening the arena. They had to push comps because people didn't give a damn. And you were asked on one of the channels, where are you with Tyson Fury? You admitted in the red. You didn't say, I could have bought a house in Beverly Hills with the money I've lost on Tyson Fury. You know why you didn't say that, Bob? Because you lost far more than that on Tyson Fury. In fact, you played a game with Fury, disrupting the heavyweight division. You made certain that there was no immediate rematch between Fury and Wilder. And even after the second fight, you tried to indicate that the third fight wouldn't happen at all. How about that, Bob? You came out and said, oh, they blew the deadline and everything for the paperwork and all of that. Dude, you've been lying the whole time to people. Wasn't it you who said boxing fans are like rocks? You could kick them in any direction. Wasn't it you who said, yesterday I was lying, today I'm telling the truth? Yeah. Documentation, Bob. That's your voice out there on track saying those things. So what would make a young man from Omaha think that the truth is in you? He suffered at the fans calling him names and talking down on him and making bad videos on him and everything because of your doing your works, Bob. Because you weren't doing your job, not promoting this man. He's a fighter. He kicks butt in the ring. What's his knockout streak now? 9 or so? You can't market that? You're in the wrong business now, Bob. Time has passed you by. You got a fighter who is pound for pound the best, undefeated. On the precipice of becoming undisputed with the other baddest man in the sport. And you won't make the fight. You wouldn't make the fight for Manny Pacquiao that would have raised his stock. He didn't have to promote himself in there. All he had to do was go in there and whoop Manny's ass. And the stock would have risen on its own. I killed the fight because I knew what would happen. Manny's a friend of mine. Be careful of the friendships and associations, Bob, in the sport of boxing. Wasn't there a federal investigation into you in one of the sanctioning bodies years ago? Didn't one of those sanctioning body heads go to prison? Why didn't you go to prison, Bob? And that sanctioning body president, I do believe, was a black man, wasn't he, Bob? How'd that happen, Bob? Why didn't you go down with him, Bob? Do I have too many questions for you this evening? Well, we got a lot of answers that we need to hear, right? And maybe once this deposition takes place, we'll find out more. Huh? Because Bud Crawford didn't say a word while he was fighting for you, but he spoke voluminous at that post-fight press conference of he and Sean Porter. If you can't secure fights when he's with you, how in the hell are you expected to secure any fights for him if he's not with you? Bye-bye, Mr. American Pie. Huh? Yeah. Sucker. Welcome, people. I know we've got some more folks in the building. I see some names that weren't in there at first. And forgive me if I missed you just yet because I was trying to give my opening dialogue there. Some of you may have enjoyed that. Some may not. But it is what it is. And we're going to move forward. Huh? We got some people. I'm trying to go back up in the chat now. Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to go back. A17 Boxing B says, you got to watch what you eat and drink, Sensei. I do, man, which is weird because like you heard me say, if you heard me, heartburn is not something I get. And I'm usually on top of what I'm eating and drinking. but I do believe there's something going on with my system because of, different stresses and things like that. It can happen to you. But I appreciate that. Yahweh says, I remember someone said they were going to call today, Stormy. Laugh out loud. Yeah, but I'm not doing the call-in for the Friday night chop session. Next call-in will be Sunday morning for the call-in show. I have some things to talk about this evening, but I just don't have enough to squeeze in call-in to get out what I want to get out for this evening. 817 Boxing B says, nobody seen it coming. He was chilling and shaking hands at the last top-ranked event. That's what he's supposed to do. He was being who he is. But when he started talking, he grabbed everybody's ear, didn't he? That's the way it's supposed to be, man. A lot of people think that we have to clown and act up and show our behind. You don't have to do that. That is a stereotype that a black man can't hold himself in check. That a black man doesn't have the discipline or the intelligence to express himself appropriately at a time deemed necessary. And a man who will keep his mouth closed unless he really has something to say. You've seen all of it on display here with this gentleman. Huh? And I call him gentleman because he carried it himself and conducted himself as a gentleman. Huh? Where's the gentleman in Teofimo Lopez? Huh? Can somebody share that with me? We're still looking. Huh? Where's the gentleman in other fighters that we've seen under this promotional group? If I'm not mistaken, one of them is going to jail for something or has gone to jail for something very serious. But that doesn't sidetrack the points I'm trying to make here. Crawford is just the type of fighter. If he were back in the 80s, he'd be right up there with Leonard and Hagler and Hearns and Duran and Benavidez. Not only because of his skill set, because of his desire to want to be competitive against the best. And that's how you carve out a nice notch of legacy for yourself. Going up against the best. Not worried about the purses. The purses come when you fight the best. A lesson and message for the guys out there today. Rashid Rourke, welcome to the show, bro. He says, George Foreman should mind his business if he is not going to be the wise elder. You have to understand that George Foreman is being who he has always been. Fence rider supreme. And because he's been a man with a big punch and was a relatively big man at 6'4", 220 plus pounds, he was intimidating to a lot of people. But there was one man from Louisville, 3-time champion of the world, didn't give a damn about George, was the first one to take it all from George. Yeah. Just setting down the precedent that, you know what? The harder they come, the harder they fall. Another lesson that Bob should have learned all these years being involved with the sport of boxing. Fact is, Bob don't care about none of those guys. He may do certain business with people. He may have done certain business with people simply because, as Mike Tyson has stated, this is the peddling of the flesh. Huh? So sometimes when you're peddling that flesh, your hands get a little dirty, if not bloody, huh? Yeah. So you got to know. Denzel Washington made a film that I love. It's called Devil in a Blue Dress. And there's this tremendous line in that film that says, when you get involved in something, you just have to decide whether you want to be mixed in all the way up to the top. I'm kind of paraphrasing it. It's been a while since I've seen the film, but it's talking about getting involved. You can't be halfway in. You can't be halfway out. You got to be all in or all out. And boxing is that kind of sport as well. Crawford was all in. He was doing exactly what he was supposed to do. Go out there, you line him up, he knock him down. Knock him down with excitement. Wasn't the Kell Brook stoppage exciting? Amir Khan quit. But a lot of people thought that Jeff Horn would be too strong for him. He whooped him too. Beat all the fight out of him. Green Beans thought he was going to do something. Took him out as well. People don't even want to give him credit for stopping Sean Porter. Listen, Bud does his thing. And a great promoter could sell that. Why Bob don't really like Bud, why he didn't want to, it's deep, people. It's deep. Even before and after the shows, he's doing his thing. And for you special people out there, you should know what I mean when I say that. Look at how he takes his photographs, the way he positions himself. That's all I'll say. The hell out of here, man. Picasso says, talk to him, Stormy. That's Me is in the building saying, Stormybman, salute OG, salute to you. 817 Boxing B says, my experience with someone has no bearing on someone else's. We know who and what Bob is. I'm just upset that he believed him and not us and history. Well, you have to understand, he was mixed in with Bob before the fame came and the championships came, but he was sold on a dream. He made it to a certain point and Bob did not elevate him. And he was well deserving of being elevated. But I want to say this as a side note for people to take very close note of what happens with fighters and their contracts. Bob is a licensed attorney, a lawyer. What type of lawyer? I don't know. But you can believe the legalese that will be put in a client's contract, like a fighter who fights for him, would be worded in a manner in which it serves Bob well. There are always options and stipulations in contracts that will make someone toe the line. We've seen fighters be inactive. Guillermo Rigondeaux, placed on the shelf. Mikey Garcia. We even saw, at some point in his career, Andre Ward. Good fighters. Okay? And you wonder, why are they so inactive? Why is he not fighting more? Why, listen. Some of these promoters can be really crude. If they want to freeze your career, they'll do so. All they got to tell you is, I can't make a deal. I can't get anybody. Nobody wants to fight you. And word has it that they've already put it out amongst their colleagues. Listen, I'm going to teach this kid a lesson. I'm shelving him. He'll be begging me for a fight, and he'll sign 3 options for me just to get 2 fights next year. You don't think this stuff happens? Stormy likes his kung fu films. Triad movies are a favorite of mine as well. When the triads move in on someone, they move in. Chow Yun-fat, the actor, had a booming acting career. The triads moved in on that man's career, and for like 3 years, Chow Yun-fat didn't even make a film. People were like, where is he? Did he retire or what? If they say you don't make a film, you don't make a film. In the meantime, what you may have produced or whatever, the sales on that stuff go up. Prices go up. They making money without you even working. I'll stop right there. This is a trip, man. We're seeing some things. Rasheed Rourke says, how is the promoter blaming the fighter for having bad promotion? Right? Salute to Ashley's Corner. I see you out there, Queen. Picasso says, is Jim Crow Esquire in boxing, holding on to slave traditions through boxing, football, and others? Picasso, check into how much percentage a manager gets off of a fighter. Then a promoter. Check into those percentages. If you get the answers before the end of this show, write it in the chat. You can Google it. Yahweh says, I'm on these MF's neck all year long. It's a new year, a new era, so to speak. Yes, sir. 817 Boxing B says, at Rashad Rourke, how that makes sense. Bud may not have done his part, but that is literally his title. Bud has done his part, brother. Mark Stern says, salute to the king, Stormybman and alike. 817 Boxing says, racism has evolved, but some of these races can't adapt how they get down. No, racism hasn't evolved. There is a line that you can't see that is drawn between you and he. Okay? Some of you don't see the line. Some cower behind it. Others try to pretend it doesn't exist. On both sides. And then some of us just crash into it because we're tired. We want change. But we can't make the total change because too many are afraid. Too many are afraid to get the motivation to be better, to do better, to unite. Because as long as they can keep you separated, there's no strength in your actions. Yeah, a swarm of mosquitoes may bite you. It sting here, sting there, scratch here, scratch there. But if you had a beehive open up and come after you, you'd run for cover. There's a reason why the 5 fingers can make a fist, and the fist can strike a mighty blow. But if you subjects don't understand the extension to become a fist, then you'll always be subjected to that invisible line I'm talking about. Yeah. Rashid says, Bud is a fighter and he may have made mistakes, but Bob should have done the job he was assigned to do. If Bud was Vasily Lomachenko, there'd be articles out there about him today. KP from KC is in the building saying, salute Stormybman, salute to you. Mr. Pac-Man is out there saying, Swartz is a tomato can. Yeah. Ashley says, at work chilling at the moment. Okay. William Old School Artist says, I've been saying that Bob is old and probably lazy because of his age. He should have put someone young in charge of Bud's career. That's interesting because he personally oversaw Bud's career, so that means that he wanted to do to Bud what he was doing to him. William says, Stormybman throwing down that knowledge. He says, I have acid reflux. I don't. But tonight, all I had was a little meatloaf and some green beans. I didn't even have any starch. And the meatloaf didn't have a lot of sauce on it either, just barely any. But, you know, it happens. Let's see. Picasso said, I like Man on Fire. The song, One Word, is a favorite. Yeah. Remember that? G5 Gabe says, indeed, Sensei, he was sold a dream. Yeah, he was. Picasso says, exactly. He says, I hate to get jumped by a bunch of village people. Rashid Rourke says, Mickey Bay's interview was very revealing about the dirtiness in boxing. Yeah, Mickey Bay better be careful. He talked a lot, didn't he? This brother, he revealed some stuff, but it's all there. It's all there. It's true. William says, promoters are the reason why boxing can't be like the UFC. Promoters wouldn't be needed, which is why they will never let it happen. Which is another reason that they hate Al Heyman, the advisor. He takes a lot of power out of their hands when they've signed up with him, and fighters can control the economics of their careers a little more astutely and with Heyman's guidance. Scrapbook is in the building. What's good with you, Scrapbook? He says, stepping. Talk that talk, Stormy. Laugh out loud. Yeah, Scrap. Some of these things have to be said, brother. Kwee is asking, Stormybman, have you checked for is that an acronym for something, Kwee? Because I don't know what that is, sister. You know, I'm an OG. Some of these things I don't know everything, so nor do I claim to. But what is that I need to check for? Help me out, please. I'm kind of caught up on these comments in the chat now. I can move it forward a little bit. You know, let's see. I see you. I am Trill Will. Salute to you, brother. I'm trying to see. That's the wrong one. Little studio stuff here going on. I will play something for you all. I want to make sure if it's still queued up. If it's not queued up, it's not going to play. But I'll give it a go. Let's see here. Oh, okay, Kwee, thank you for that. Yeah, I didn't know about that. That was the acronym for that. Yeah, I haven't had this in years. I'm talking about last time I probably had heartburn or indigestion, whatever it is, it's probably in my late 30s, early 40s, something like that. So it's not something that attacks me a lot. Let's see here. Hopefully this will play for you.
I love it when Jews love the Jews. I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. We can't be right. You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. And if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga. You understand? Depravity, poverty, ignorance, lecherousness, lewdness, evil. Everything that was negative and unholy was attributed to the black people. And everything that was holy and glorified was attributed to the white people. The money, the wealth, the power. And with the blacks, it's the powerlessness that we have to be able to deal with against the power. You got to understand that negative associations coupled with blackness is what make these things happen. It's been a condition of racism since this country was founded 400 years ago. Because working together works. Go ahead.
Yeah. Were you guys able to hear that? I'll play it again for you. But that's a clip that I kept in my queue. I saw it originally back when Mike Tyson fought Alex Stewart on HBO. It was Mike Tyson's last fight on HBO. They allowed Don King and Mike Tyson to be interviewed as Tyson prepared for his fight in Atlantic City against Alex Stewart. They allowed Spike Lee to interview them. And they didn't want anyone who was not black to be a part of this. Tyson knew it was going to be his last fight on HBO. The watching public didn't. He announced it after the fight was over. And it was just Don King in a moment of expressing, talking about race relations in America. And when he said these things, HBO, the audience that tuned into the fight that night, they were blown away. There was much more said, but I pretty much took Don's portion of that. Mike Tyson said some things as well. Because basically he was saying that two black guys got together in the sport of boxing and they were the strongest figureheads. Mike in the heavyweight division and Don on the promotional side. And they were talking about how the media and that other demographic didn't appreciate them uniting and becoming powerful in the sport. Yeah. This was like, what, 89? Something like that? Whenever Mike Tyson fought Alex Stewart. That's how long ago it's been. But, yeah. One more time.
I love it when Jews love the Jews. I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. We can't be white. You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. And if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga. You understand? Depravity, poverty, ignorance, leprousness, lewdness, evil. Everything that was negative and unholy was attributed to the black people. And everything that was holy and glorified was attributed to the white people. The money, the wealth, the power. And with the blacks, it's the powerlessness that we have to be able to deal with against the power. You got to understand that negative associations coupled with blackness is what make these things happen. It's been a condition of racism since this country was founded 400 years ago. Because working together works. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, they've turned you all against Don King, haven't they? But Don King mastered the game, man. Yeah. He did. He probably did his share of dirt or whatever, but you know what? Remember what I said about the devil in the blue dress quote? If you're going to be mixed into something, you might as well be mixed all the way up to the top. That was Don. Bob couldn't stand him because Don was an intelligent man who did not conform to the stereotype. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have no clue, man. A lot of people have no clue. Yeah, Scrap, his rap game is powerful, ain't it? That man was something else. You know, there's a reason that he should be studied, but I won't say on the air how. But just know that a lot of folks still ain't learned nothing. We'll just leave it like that. A lot still have not learned. And they won't. Because the minds are closed. Minds are closed. Yeah. I see my man Watcher in the building. What's good with you, Watcher? Good to see you. ALB 225 says, salute Sensei to the dojo. He says, kings with a shot and queens with a rose. Hashtag LDBC. Power 100 salute. Salute to you, brother. Mr. Pac-Man 216 says, J. Edgar Hoover said the biggest threat in America is blacks united. Well, they act like it, don't they? They really act like it. Smash that like button. We had a few more people come into the building, and I'm certain all of you that come in have not smashed my like button because the numbers have dropped off, but at the same time, they had picked up. And for you content creators out there who haven't smashed my like button, I don't know why. When I come to you guys' channel and chat, first thing I do is come in there and speak, then I hit the like button. That's how I do it. But yeah, we can move on. I think I concentrated and focused on that enough, huh? So one of the things that I can move on to is some of the news in the sport of boxing right now. And I saved up a couple of articles to just go over a couple things because, man, boxing is it's just something else, I'll tell you. Here we get some of the latest news. You know, we got a fight coming up tomorrow where Joe Smith Jr. is going to take on Steve Giffard. And that fight has been adjusted because Giffard is a fill-in for an original opponent. And the fight will be broadcast on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Fight TV. But, you know, this fight is for Smith's WBO light heavyweight championship. You know, ever since he stopped Bernard Hopkins, Smith has been on a tear. You know, Joe Smith has really been on a tear. And he has proven that his victory over Hopkins was not it was not a very well may be the one that could really give a challenge to Artur Beterbiev, who I'm, you know, very high on. It's very possible. But this article from Boxing 24 talks about the fight a little bit, and it says Steve Giffard wasn't supposed to be here. Last Friday, he was preparing to weigh in for a fight in Delray Beach, Florida, when he received a call. WBO light heavyweight champion Joe Smith Jr. needed an opponent after British puncher Callum Johnson contracted C19. Giffard answered the call and will fight Smith this Saturday, tomorrow, at Turning Stone Resort in Verona, New York. And as I said, it'll be broadcast on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus around 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Giffard, who's 18-2 with 12 KOs, is a Florida native and former U.S. amateur standout and was 0-2 before rattling off 18 consecutive victories. Smith, who is 27-3 with 21 KOs, defeated Maxim Vlasov last April and will finally defend his title after a C19 diagnosis delayed his return. In the 10-round co-feature, featherweight contender Abraham Nova, who's 20-0 with 14 KOs, will look to extend his unbeaten record against 2012 Dominican Olympian William Encarnacion, who's 19-1 with 15 KOs. This is going to be an interesting fight because Smith is saying, I can't wait to be on ESPN this Saturday defending my world title in front of the whole world. I'm extremely happy to be here. There were a couple of moments where I thought I wasn't going to be here. I can't wait. Thanks to everyone that made this happen. Since I became world champion, the only thing that has really changed for me is that I'm holding this title and I want to keep it that way. Giffard has been inside the ring training with the best. I'm sure he's going to give it his all and will try to take full advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Giffard says, when those belts are on the line, that mental switch turns on. I know that mentally and skill-wise I can battle with the best I have sparred with and handled myself very well against the best of the division. I'm a fighter, especially with an opportunity like this. I'm going to rise to the occasion. I'll show the world who Steve Gifford is. I was in the sauna when I got the call for this fight. I was looking forward to Smith versus Johnson, but now I'm the one fighting for the title. It's surreal. Yeah. Isn't that something? You have to take these opportunities, man. When it comes, you got to be ready. And these are the type of fights that can be exciting sometimes because a last-minute replacement or a sub, you may not have been training for that type of style, or you don't know, what the guy is going to bring. So you got to be on top of that. You know what I mean? So Picasso, he's asking, who said that? Earl Spence? No, I'm talking about the fights tomorrow where Joe Smith in the main event is taking on Steve Gifford. And they were both talking about the fight, facing each other. So just reading a little article there, Picasso. So just wanted to say that, you know what I mean? Let's see. See, you guys, sometimes I can come and bring that kind of news to you when you want to hear it. For those who don't know, Clarissa Shields is fighting on February 5th. So we look forward to the return of the GOAT, and she'll be taking on an undefeated #1 ranked challenger, Emma Kozin. And this will be on a pay-per-view. So I don't know. I think that's on Fight TV also. It's a 4-fight card, and it'll begin at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll see what happens. Clarissa dipping back and forth between boxing and MMA. I just want her to box, but I understand why she's doing what she's doing. But you got to be focused up. Got to be focused up. If you don't focus up, some other things can happen. You know what I mean? So, but these are the kind of things you see on the horizon. Duke Todd is out there. He says, man, I'm late. Salute, Stormy. Salute to you. Picasso says, calm down, Stormy. Don't want to call in anger management. Yeah? We're good. We're good over here. There's something else I wanted to share with you guys too. There was an interview from last week where Larry Holmes, former heavyweight champion, got asked for an interview, and he had something to say about boxing and current fighters, particularly the heavyweights he was talking about. And he was asked, some questions. And Larry, this is kind of what he had to say. When asked what he thought of the fighters that are currently out there. So this comes courtesy of Boxing Social.
This video is brought to you by HeyBoxing.com. Want to get paid for promoting boxing-related content on your Instagram? It doesn't matter if you have followers or 50 million. Start earning today at heyboxing.com.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Marcos Villegas here in Mexico City, being joined with former heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes. Larry, this is the first time I've gotten a chance to speak to you ever, so I'm excited to get a chance to talk to you. The heavyweight division right now is on fire. There's so many guys that are making waves. What do you make of the current crop of heavyweights and their talent and skill?
Well, the fighters today is not the fighters that were when I fought. You know, we fought the top 10. We didn't duck nobody. We went around. Look, Ernie Shavers, Jerry Cooney, Kenny Norton. You know, all those strong guys. Today, they guys don't want to fight. So you know what? They're not going to get. You want to make some money, you got to bring it to it. You got to make these guys fight.
Where did it go wrong? Like, what do you think is the cause of that, of the fighters now in general not fighting the best consistently?
I think when I quit. I was the last hope to keep boxing going, but boxing has been good to me, and since me standing there messing up boxing for somebody else, but it still got some guys out there that can fight a little bit. A lot of people like little guys, but I like to watch big guys because I was a big guy. But a lot of people will watch a little guy fight.
Speaking of the big guys, have you been keeping an eye on the current events? Like, did you see the Wilder Fury 3 fight? Did you see Tyson Fury's fight that he had with him?
Yeah, you know what? I was working that night, and so I didn't get to see it all. But they had a good fight. It was a good fight for them.
So you haven't seen the fight in its entirety?
No.
Oh, okay. Because a lot of people are saying it's like one of the greatest fights ever.
No. No. What about me?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But they're saying yours, but then, that one too.
Kenny Norton, Ernie Shavers, Jerry Cooney, You can't leave these guys out. Those guys were great guys, good fighters. And I praise them all the time. And that's what I'll continue to do.
What do you make of the skills that Fury has, Anthony Joshua has, Deontay Wilder has?
They don't have no skills.
Really, you don't think so?
No, they can't. Listen,
yeah.
You got to punch here. No guys punch. They throw punches like this for a jab. You don't throw punches like straight, bang, bang, with the jab. You got to have that out there like that. And you guess what? You can't hit me with that right hand because this hand protect me. They don't know how to throw 1-2, bang, bang, and get out and move out, protect yourself. But you know what? They have it. I had my day, and I had a great time doing what I was doing.
Because a lot of people would say that Tyson Fury shows a lot of skills, shows a lot of versatility. They say that he moves like a middleweight in the body of a heavyweight.
He move like Larry Holmes. That's what he got to move like. Listen, you got to give punches. You shouldn't take punches, and that's what he does. He takes punches. I guess that's what he wanted to do, prove people that he can take a punch. The game in boxing is hit and don't get hit.
Have you heard of the cruiserweight that moved up to heavyweight to become unified champion, Alexander Usyk?
They always talking that. They talk that stuff, but they ain't gonna get nothing out of it. The only thing they get out of that is hurt.
No, well, he went in and he beat Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight titles. What did you see that fight?
No, I just seen some of it, but I didn't. I wouldn't have gave it, like that. I wouldn't have given too much attention because these guys do that,
In terms of outside of the heavyweight division, is there anyone in particular that sticks out to you that you like to see them fight?
I'd rather watch professional wressling.
No way. Really? Yeah? You're a WWE fan?
Hey, man, you see them guys lately?
That's funny. I stopped watching wrestling like 10, 15 years ago.
It's crazy. I mean, wrestling is crazy, man. With Hulk Hogan up there.
Yeah.
And those guys, man, they out of it. I should stop watching that.
Yeah. So, you know, you didn't see like Canelo's fights lately or some of the other guys?
I watch them, and they got good fights, but they're not bang, bang, bang. They're not hitting like, you know, like they should. Bang, bang, you knock the guy out. You can't do that. They hit him, and then you might cut a little bit here and there, and then they stop the fight. But
Do you think the guys, on top of lack of technique, do you feel they're lacking like the killer instinct to put the guys away?
No, they're not lacking the killer instinct. They just can't get in there to get it. That's what it is.
So what needs to happen to change that?
I don't know. I'm not that good at being a genius on these guys fighting, you know.
What do you make of all the exhibition fights that are happening? You know, Mike Tyson came back and he fought Roy Jones Jr. What do you think of all that?
See, that's what I'm talking about. Exhibition fights are better than the regular fights. So people are going to the exhibition fights. But I think it's good for Mike Tyson to keep in shape. He can do that, but, you know, you can't take that seriously. Because people they pay their money and they want to see a fight. And that's all to it.
Thank you so much for watching this video. And make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight It.
Yeah, that was Larry Holmes. They interviewed him. Larry is getting old now. I think Larry is close to like 80, if I'm not mistaken. He's an older gentleman. But when he was talking about the fighters today, the way they throw their punches, they're not getting the same effect out of them. I talk about these things all the time. I talk about the lack of technique. I talk about the lack of skill sets. And some people may think that I'm just coming down on these guys of today. But the teaching is a lot less than to be desired of today. And there is a way to right that ship, but it's going to require work and work ethic, something that is also missing amongst the guys of today. I made a remark in the last Friday night chop session. I listened to the show again this morning, and I talked about AJ being beaten up in the gym, and I was making a remark about I could show him how to stop getting hit with those right hands with a jab. And that was before I discovered this audio clip of Larry Holmes today that I put on the show. And I was like, here it is, an old master also passing on a secret. It's like, that's how you do it. You hit and get out of the way. But a lot of these fighters today are know-it-alls and everything. They don't study the sport. They don't study their craft. And so they leave a lot on the table, instead of putting it in that toolbox. And that's the difference. It's a huge difference in the quality of boxing that you're seeing today than just 20 years ago. And if you go back beyond 20 years, the gap gets wider. And the further back you go, the further that gap gets. So it's something that people need to pay attention to if they are invested in the sport of boxing. There was a great conversation going on 503 Lions channel earlier today. Salute to 503 and the brothers that was on the panel with him. And they were talking about Jared Big Baby Anderson. And he was saying, they originally talking about the Tony Yoka possibly fighting Filip Hrgovic. You know, they fought a few times in the amateurs. Yoka has victories over him, and now he's faced Hrgovic. And they were talking about Jared Big Baby Anderson and, you know, how they would like to see him in there with someone. And I was saying that before that happens, I had to wait for a second. I was saying that before that happens, that I would like to see Big Baby Anderson in a fight where he goes late and deep into a fight. I want to see him get to the 10th round. I want to see him in a fight where his stamina is tested. I want to see him in a fight where it let us know whether he carries a big punch late. We know he could get somebody out of there in 2 or 3 rounds. I don't think he's gone 5 or 6. Well, he needs to be in fights that are going to test him in that regard. And then lastly, I was stating that we need to know how he responds when somebody's fighting him back, because he's been in a fight where he's been superior to the other guys. And all of the guys, the opponents he's been fighting have been variations of the same individual. All that's doing is just padding the record. Now we need to see some growth there. We need to see him working his jab. We need to see him moving around a little bit. We need to see if he can fight on the inside. And remember, fighting on the inside is not you bulling the guy up against the ropes and you banging him out of there. Fighting on the inside is when you get close within a range of the opponent and you get ready to start your engagement, that they are engaging with you. There's something coming back. You're in the line of fire. Can you protect yourself under those circumstances? Can you counter? Can you catch and shoot? Can you roll? Can you get under shots? Can you block and defend, protect yourself, and without standing too far away or moving away? You know, inside fighting is a skill. So we haven't seen that from him because he's been blowing guys out, and the quality of the opponents that he's blowing out are nowhere near these guys that we were just talking about, like the Tony Yokas and Filip Hrgović. And you don't want to get in a fight with guys like that and you haven't done anything before that. And they have solid amateur backgrounds. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't heard a lot about Anderson's amateur background, but I heard he's done good work in the gym. But the gym is not live action, so you have to be ready and prepped and prepared for that. And you know, going rounds means something, because if you think a guy who's been knocking everybody out before 5 or 6, when he gets to 7, 8, and 9, if you don't think it's weighing on his mind, it is. He's like, why is this guy still here and the other guys I took out? This is why you change the levels. You change the type of opponents. You switch it up. And you have to do that in order for your fighter to flourish, to bloom, to blossom. You know, that's not a heavy over critique of Big Baby Anderson. That's the proper critique of him, because if he thinks that he's going to go in there and just bang everybody out, you got another thing coming. There's some guys out there that can bang him out of there. You understand? And it can happen. So that's all I was saying about that. But, you know, we want to see the best out of these guys. And that's one of the ways you get to the best, by, you know, engaging in different types of opposition, you know. So just know that, because Stormy likes to keep on top of these kind of things. You know what I mean? So let's see, we got Yave says fact, and Watcher says Anderson got knocked out by Mack Truck in the amateurs. Really? Okay. That's interesting. Picasso says, I didn't get to those skills, but when I started trying to box, I didn't want to get hit, but I also wanted to drop the other guy off with Jesus. Okay. Okay, Picasso. Yeah. Let's talk about a fight that's coming up later this month, man, where we will get to see the return of Mr. Gary Allen Russell Jr. Man, it seems like eons since Gary fought, right? Or since we last seen him in the ring. But he's got a fight coming up on the 22nd, which will be next Saturday. And with the record of 31-1 with 18 KOs, Mr. Gary Allen is going to return to the ring. He's 5'4.5" with 64-inch reach. And he's going to be taking on Mark Maxayo, who is the upcoming Filipino fighter with a record of 23-0. Now, these two men are facing off. The fight will be in Atlantic City, and it's for Gary's WBC featherweight title. This is going to be an interesting fight. On this card will be some familiar faces and names, as on the undercard, we've got Evan Holyfield, who will be coming in, going for his 9th victory, the son of Evander Holyfield, legendary cruiserweight and heavyweight champion, undisputed in both weight classes. Then there'll also be a middleweight fight between LaShawn Rodriguez, and we got Tugstock Nyambayar, who also fought Gary a few years ago. He's coming back. And then Sabril Matias, he's going to be taking on Petros Anayan, and that's a super lightweight bout where Sabril, who's 17-1, is looking to try to steal some thunder as the co-main on this card. Gary is going to have to pay close attention to this Mark Magsayo, because Magsayo has a good punch. He's tough. He can endure a lot. So Gary's going to have to use his boxing skills. He's 5'6", couple of inches taller than Gary, has a 68-inch reach, and he's a puncher from the Philippines. I think that he's either being promoted or managed by Manny Pacquiao. And in 23 fights, he's got 16 KOs, Magsayo. It's a tough fight for Gary coming back after not fought in a while. And I like this fight. I just hope that Gary fights again soon after. It's like he's been a guy who's only been fighting like once a year. And I'm telling you, this thing is real serious when you see these guys out there, man, because some fighters know they can make their name in a bout like this. So I don't have to tell Gary. Gary's smart enough and intelligent enough for that. He's been training his brothers, and now it's going to be his time to get in there. But he's going to be in there against a live opponent. I'm not saying the guy going to beat Gary or anything like that. I'm just saying that after the layoff, you can find some rust. And, Gary's getting older. I don't know. They didn't put his name up. Not his name. They didn't put his age up here, but I know that he's starting to ascend that ladder, and Father Time is undefeated. But that'll be next Saturday, and I look forward to that. You know what I mean? It's like getting a chance to see him back in the ring. We haven't seen him in a long time. That's good stuff, man. It's good stuff to see him back. But going back to the chat for a moment, Watcher was asking me, he said, Stormy, do you think Larry beat Spinks both times? Yes. Yes, I do. He had a closer fight against Tim Witherspoon that the judges scored against Witherspoon. And Spinks didn't do near the work that Witherspoon did against Holmes. They just didn't want Larry to get that Rocky Marciano record. He was 48-0 going into that fight. And they took the opportunity of tying Rocky Marciano's record. And then in the rematch, they just made sure that they send him out with 2 losses. That was unforgivable. Unforgivable. Because Larry hung around trying to make the record. And he didn't have to do that. But why would you let him get to the door and then close it on him like that? They didn't want him to have Rocky's record. That's what that was. Just like they were hell be damned if Deontay got close to that. So they made sure they ran interference on that as well. How about that? But yeah, PGH Big Dog, I see you out there saluting. What else we got here? I see you guys are having a conversation between each other. That's okay. That's okay. So, yeah, Watcher, he did hurt him very badly in that second fight. Spinks almost hit the floor. MPWTF says facts. G5 says 100. 100, yeah. So, yeah, guys. But I'm not going to stretch this out any longer, man. I think that I made a great opening remark and statement there talking about Bob and Terrence and their situation. We've got some great fights coming up. Like I said, that fight with Gary and Maxeo on the 22nd. Tomorrow is the Smith versus Jeffrard, and that's a good fight. Smith may overwhelm him with his toughness. Smith may wear this guy down. And if the guy fights motivated, we'll see a very good fight. But that's what I look forward to. You know what I mean? When the guys just compete in there, do their thing. You know? So that's how I see it. You know what I mean? But what are you guys? Are you guys going to tune in and watch Joe Smith Jr. tomorrow? It's a chance to watch some boxing. Now, I don't know, that might not be who you want to see, but it's boxing. And you know, the moment that you decide that you don't tune in to something, isn't that when something really good happens? Huh? Yeah. It's like that's when something really good happens. He's like, I knew I should have watched that fight. Watched that card. You know? So, but yeah. I think I'm going to go and treat myself again with some dealing with this little bit of heartburn. Thank you guys for the record. I was explaining what I'm dealing with. But we're going to get ready to get on up out of here. I'll let you guys go and check out your other channels and content creators, and we'll see you guys tomorrow evening, the post-fight show. Stormy will still be doing the post-fight tomorrow. I will still be doing a post-fight tomorrow, so you can get right back here tomorrow night and catch me for my thoughts on the evening's fights. So with that, Stormy gonna get on up out of here. I wish you guys peace and enjoy those fights, and then we'll catch you tomorrow night. And don't forget the call-in show Sunday morning. All right, so have a good night, everybody. Yeah, William Old School. I will be trying. I got some, too. I'm going to try that. Yahweh says, yeah, Stormy, it's always like that when you miss something. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So take care, everybody, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow night.